And alright, boom. Come on now. Let me be. What's going on? Alright, bet. This is the second video, second day of me doing YouTube. This will be, what if Deku had a brother? Izuku's brother's name, or better to say, well, if you know what Izuku's original design looked like, it's the one to the right. Izuku's brother name will be Yamikumo, and he'll be born all the same as Izuku. They'll be the same age. Now, first off, to start this off, to even get an evaluation for what if it's gonna be, or better to say, explain Izuku's brother's personality. Izuku's brother is not an opposite to him, but more of an... Izuku is more of an optimistic person. He's always going to think things are going to go well, or most of the time, he's going to hope that things go well. Yamikumo, I'm pretty sure that's right? Yeah, Yamikumo. Yamikumo is more of a realistic person. So if they're in a really bad situation, Izuku's going to be like, yeah, we're going to get out of this. Yamikumo's going to be like, I don't know. We might not get out of this, but let's hope that we do. Izuku is sometimes more of a realistic person like that, but that's only sometimes. Most of the time, he would be an optimistic person. Oof, it's real goddamn hot. Anyway. Izuku, at this point, or not Izuku. Yeah, Izuku and Yamikumo will basically have the same childhood. But they will both be friends with Kazuki and all that other such. And they'll even both, of course, they'll go to the same preschool. I think it was preschool. I don't know if it's preschool or kindergarten. Same difference. But basically, when they are both 4, Inka will end up taking them to the quirk doctors, and they will both get their quirks evaluated. Izuku will be quirkless. Yamikumo will have a different quirk. More of a villainous quirk. His quirk is Inception. The user can implant ideas into other people's minds, both verbally and non-verbally. In response to a resulting, maybe you should check on that, or nodding towards the bushes would both implant the idea of going to investigate. Targets will be aware the user gave them the idea, but will follow through with it until a better idea presents itself. Their eyes gain a certain glint when used. Whatever as an artistic choice or actually affect the usage is up to you. But anyway, that is Yamikumo's quirk. His quirk is a lot more different from Inko's and his father Hasashi, but that is a thing that's able to happen. You can either have a mixture of one of your parents' quirks, the same as one of your parents' quirks, or a completely different quirk entirely. Yamikumo is the case of a completely different quirk. Because of this, both of the boys are bullied at school. Most kids see his quirk as a very villainous type quirk, and kids pick on Izuku because, well, he's quirkless. That thing will not change about Izuku's quirk. Or not Izuku's quirk. That thing will not change about Izuku. Izuku will still be quirkless. He will still be picked on by Bakugo, but only with a plus of Yamikumo. Now, Yamikumo is not the type... What's the way to put it? Yamikumo thinks of it as if his brother is getting bullied and both of them can't do anything about it, and Izuku obviously isn't going to do anything, So he needs to be the one to step up to protect his brother. So what does Yamikumo do? He starts basically to begin to work out and not learn karate. He just learns how to throw a punch, basically. So basically, whenever Katsuki would come over to try and bully them, it would mostly be Yamikumo defending him and Izuku. But Yamikumo's efforts will never go well at all. Most of the time, ooh, that shit hurts. Most of the time, it's just going to be Bakugo just obliterating the lot of them. Or the both of them. So, yeah, Yamikumo and Izuku don't enjoy that often. And basically, their lives are about the same as Izuku's in the original canon. But it will usually be Yamikumo being more of a realistic person. Often giving Izuku some advice often giving Izuku advice. Often giving Izuku advice to keep pushing forward, and even if you can't become a hero through the means of an actual hero and a hero's license, firefighters, police officers, even detectives, or even support course members. They're all seen as much as heroes as others. So Izuku could always do that. Izuku, well, because of this point, Izuku would often not take the fact that or if somebody were to basically say that you can't become a hero because you don't have a quirk, I would say originally Izuku almost took that as an insult in canon, but now he would not take it with pride, but it wouldn't affect him as much. Because his brother is constantly saying, like, I don't even believe that you can become a hero without a quirk. But you can always do something else that'll still lead you to save people. And Izuku would agree with that. Or not agree with it. He would still want to become a hero, but he's like, okay, I guess. So is it Yamikumo? I keep forgetting. So Yamikumo would basically take the role of the big brother. But they would both end up getting bullied at school. But Yamikumo, he would be the more athletic out of the two. So Yamikumo would have friends, and through result of that, so would Izuku. But the same friends that they had wouldn't be popular either. So, after some point in time, or not some point, after a little while, both of the boys would be 15 years old and would both be in junior high. As this day, their teacher would walk in the classroom with student applicant tests and basically look at his class. Now, I would usually pass out these student applicant tests for all of you to sign, as all the kids will begin growing. But I would normally pass out these papers for all of you to sign, as the kids would begin groaning and moaning, not moaning shit, would begin to groan. But then the teacher looks at them all and throws them into the air. But why bother? I know you all chose the hero track, as the kids would start yelling in to use all their quirks. And except for three: Izuku, Yamikumo, and Bakugo. At this point, with all the kids cheering and yelling out loud, eventually Katsuki, I don't know why I paused for so long. After a little while of the students yelling and cheering out loud and the teacher settling them down, Katsuki would end up hopping on his desk and shouting out, Don't loop me in with the rest of these D-listers or these extras. I'm the real deal. I'm a penis head. He would say, I'm the real deal, and something else. He would basically just be talking shit to the entire class. I can't remember what Katsuki said. It's been too long. But after a little while of Katsuki just gloating about himself, one kid would say, but hasn't Yamikumo embarrassed you multitude of times? Wouldn't Yamikumo have a better chance of becoming a hero than you? As this is when the teacher would say, "Oh yeah, Yamikumo Midoriya. It says that you want to go to UA, and so do you, Izuku." As there will be a mixture of laughter and some shock. I wouldn't say shock, but most kids would be laughing at Izuku, and some other kids would just be in shock that Yamikumo would even go for UA. As the kids are sort of murmuring and laughing, Yamikumo would quickly stand up, and with not a deep voice, but would basically would say in a loud voice, "I think you all should be quiet and sit down." Oh shit! As Yamikumo would yell this, all the kids' eyes would glow yellow as they would all sit down and be quiet. As soon as this happened, the teacher would simply just the teacher would thank Yamikumo as he would bow to the teacher and sit down. As Yamikumo would release his quirk. But as soon as this would happen, Katsuki would lunge at Yamikumo, blowing up his desk, launching Yamikumo back. And after that would do the same to Izuku. Yamikumo would try to get up to stop it, but the teacher would quickly break them up. Not break them up, but basically tell them to stop. As the two of them... damn. As the two of them would quickly be stopped and told to sit down by the teacher. Yamikumo would just fix his desk and sit down, but Katsuki would still stand and start berating at Izuku. "Don't you dare go to UA, you quirkless nerd." Besides, why would they even let you in? You're quirkless. As Yamikumo would quickly yell up for Izuku. "They changed that rule a long time ago." What would Yamikumo call Bakugo? I think he truly would just call him fucking Katsuki or Bakugo. "They changed that rule a long time, Bakugo, and you should know. Change that rule a long time ago. So Izuku could still become a hero. Even though I don't fully agree with it." As Katsuki would basically scoff and say, "Not even you fully agree with it, but yet you're protecting him." Yamikumo would simply just glare at Katsuki and then just look at him dead in his eyes, as Katsuki's eyes would begin to glow as Katsuki would turn around and sit down in his seat. When this would happen, Yamikumo would quickly fix his own desk and then sit down. As the teacher would continue on, and after a little while of him using his quirk, Yamikumo and Izuku would quickly pack up their stuff as they would run out the door. As soon as this would happen, Yamikumo's quirk would be released from Katsuki. As Katsuki, as soon as they were released, a look of anger would peer across his face as he was pissed, as the whole time he's just sitting inside of his head screaming, as he couldn't move at all. As he could not move, speak, hell, not even blink. Truth, actually, no, fuck that. He could blink. He just couldn't do anything. So as soon as this happened, he would get extremely upset and basically just run after those two. Him and like two of his goons. Because of this, and because they both pretty much predicted that Katsuki was going to be coming after them, they would take the short way home. After the damn, I don't know why I be pausing for so long. I don't know what I'm doing for. Anyway, after this point, Yamikumo and Izuku would end up running under a bridge after taking a shortcut home to avoid Katsuki. When this would happen, when they were quickly slowed down, Yamikumo and Izuku would be laughing, basically talking amongst themselves about what happened during the day. When all of a sudden, damn, when all of a sudden a shadow would appear. I don't think they would even see the shadow since they're under the bridge. When all of a sudden, they would hear sort of a sludge-like noise from behind them, or sort of a slushy or mushy type noise, as they would look behind themselves to see the sludge villain. The sludge villain would lunge at Yamikumo because I would feel like for a guy who basically snatches bodies, it wouldn't be too hard to tell that it wouldn't be that, what would the word be, outlandish to say that he would probably know how to tell if somebody has a good body or not. So he would lunge at Yamikumo, who is the most physical fit out of the two brothers. But as soon as this would happen, Izuku would push Yamikumo out of the way, basically causing him to suffocate, or begin to suffocate. Yamikumo would try to get Izuku out of there, but he would quickly just end up getting smacked away. As soon as this would happen, Yamikumo would get enraged, as he would get back up from getting smacked away and rush at the sludge villain. The sludge villain would throw another sludge tentacle, a tentacle at Yamikumo, but he will quickly duck under it and continue running at the villain. The villain would throw three more, as Yamikumo would jump over the first one, duck under the second one, and do a front flip over the last one. As when he did the front flip, he jumped high into the air, and then he would land right on top of the sludge villain's eye, basically causing him to lose the grip on Izuku. As soon as this happened, Yamikumo would sort of jump off of his eye, causing him to bounce right, sort of like when he would jump off of it, he would be falling down towards Izuku. As soon as he got into Izuku's range, he would lunge out his arm to grab Izuku and pull him out of the sludge. But it wasn't as easy as he thought. As soon as he tried to do this, he would not only lightly injure his leg doing this, but he will also end up not pulling Izuku out, as the sludge villain was about to end up grabbing one of them. And as the sludge villain was about to attack Yamikumo, when Yamikumo would wave his hand, when Yamikumo would yell at the sludge villain to stop. His thing is only questions or thoughts or ideas. As Yamikumo will quickly think in his head, "I think you should stop," as he was wave his hand in front of the sludge villain. As soon as this will happen, the sludge villain's eyes will go from a yellow to red, or not a yellow to red, but will go from a red to yellow, or I guess a pure yellow in this case, because the sludge villain's eyes were already, I think it's like the middle of his eyes, the coloring would be red, and then the outside of that, or the outside of the pupil, I think it's called the iris, is yellow. So it basically looked like he had no pupil. But after this point, Yamikumo would basically just stare at the villain, as the villain would be sort of sliding backwards. But as only sliding backwards, only around 15 to 20 feet. But because he used the quirk on or used his quirk so long on Bakugo, he wouldn't be able to be able to hold his quirk up for that long. So after around the sludge villain reached 20 feet, his quirk went. He would end up falling to one knee and basically Well, wait, time out. No, first of all, the sludge villain will also drop Izuku as he told the sludge villain to also drop Izuku, and then he would say I think you should drop Izuku. I think you should back up more. I think you should back up more. It would basically be like that, him saying it out loud or in his head. But after the sludge villain reached 20 feet, Ya- Yami Kumo's quirk would end up breaking contact. As soon as this happened, the sludge villain would sort of be like, the sludge villain would basically understand on what's going on, and understand not what his quirk is, but that is some form of a mind control quirk. As the sludge villain would immediately rush back at the two until the manhole cover popped up from where the sludge villain originally came from. When this happened, not only Yamikumo, Izuku, and the sludge villain would see All Might, they will all see All Might. As soon as this happened, All Might would sort of see the situation, and see that the boy, that from what he could tell, he was not that far behind from the sludge villain. So the fact that both of them are there, he could probably figure out that, like, oh, one of them had protected the other one. Or even if he couldn't, he would have asked when he was done hitting the sludge villain with a Texas Smash, which he would do. The villain would see All Might and try to rush forward to take one of the boys as hostage, but All Might will quickly rush over. Texas Smash! Oh! Yo, you're weird. Whoever just said that is so weird. As he would end up launching both of the as he would end up splatting the sludge villain across the walls. When this happened, Yamikumo and Izuku would sort of be in awe that they're finally seeing their idol. Or at least finally seeing their idol. As when this would happen, Izuku would quickly take out his notebook and ask All Might to sign it. All Might would of course oblige and sign Izuku's notebook, but when All Might asked if Yamikumo wanted one, Yamikumo would deny. Yamikumo loves All Might almost as much as Izuku, almost. As this will be playing back more into Yamikumo's personality. Yamikumo admires villains, not admired. Yeah, basically admires the fact that most villains all basically have a same goal. They've been mistreated, and so because of that, they went down the wrong path. And also, if Yamikumo wants to become a hero, he's gonna have to know how villains work and basically try to understand what they're going through. So what does he do? He researches and studies on villains. So because of this, it's about 50-50 with him. He doesn't love villains, or I wouldn't even say fully admires. I would say that he's basically treating them almost like a test subject, if you will, or basically a way to see into other villains' heads. Damn. And basically a way on how villains would work. So, and like I said, yeah, I'm a retcon that he would admire some villains. So like I know he would know about Redestro, as he would definitely admire him. I don't think Stain is a big name at this point, so he wouldn't admire Stain so he wouldn't admire Stain either way, even if Stain was big at the point. But you basically understand the gist. He doesn't want to autograph from All Might just because he just doesn't see the pleasure in it. Now, would he take an autograph from a villain? No. And also, All Might isn't his favorite hero. It would be Kamui Woods. I know Kamui Woods hasn't been a hit. Actually, no. It would be Edgeshot. Because Edgeshot's quirk is almost as similar to his. Not a very flashy or strong quirk, but how Edgeshot basically trains himself. His quirk, not only him, but his quirk also became more powerful. Or not his quirk. He basically became a really good hero with a pretty basic quirk. And that's what Yamikumo admires. From what he knows, All Might was basically born with that ridiculous amount of power. So, he wouldn't admire All Might as much as he would Edgeshot. Anyway, after this confrontation would happen, All Might would realize that he doesn't have much time left. So So he would begin to walk. So he would basically walk from under the bridge. Tell both of the boys that he's got to go. As he would begin stretching, Midoriya not wanting to leave the chance to ask his idol if he can become a hero without a quirk or not. He would end up running. He would end up running over, grabbing All Might's back and grabbing All Might's leg as soon as All Might would jump off. Yami Kumo, not expecting this at all, could not stop Rizuku or even use his quirk to even prevent him different or to tell him to do different. As soon as this would happen, Yami Kumo would just be flabbergasted as All Might and Izuku would be flying off. After this point, the entire things would go the same. All Might would tell Izuku that he couldn't become a hero. Izuku would sort of be depressed, but not too depressed, as he already sort of knew that himself. Because his brother who loves him and also admires his admiration to constantly become a hero, even he tells him that he can't become one. He could become another form of a hero, just not a hero. As even similar to in canon when All Might said that you should become like a police officer or a firefighter, Izuku would also realize that his brother said the same thing. Maybe they're right. Just because he doesn't have a quirk, maybe they're right. Maybe he should become a firefighter or a police officer. People won't admire him the same, but that's not what he's looking for. He just wants to be a hero. But Izuku will sort of not leave with his head held down. He would still be sad, but not as much as he would be in canon. So after a little while, All Might and Izuku will both end up hearing the explosion. They would see the smoke, as they would both run down to see it. Or All Might would run down as Izuku would sort of walk. Not as sad as in canon, but around the same. After a little while, Yami Kumo would basically just be running around trying to find Izuku or find where All Might jumped off to. So after finding where All Might jumped off to, Yami Kumo after a little while will end up seeing the smoke and basically end up running over to it. He would be around like 5 to 15 minutes away, and by the time Yami Kumo got there, he will only see basically the news reporters basically crowding some heroes, and the charred buildings and almost a crowd basically slowly dispersing. After this point, Yami Kumo would be confused, and as he would ask one of the bystanders if they had seen a green-haired boy that looked like him and in his uniform. One of the civilians would say yes, as they would say that the boy ran in to save another boy that had the same school uniform as them. He had an explosion quirk, and the boy ran in to try and help him. The heroes berated him for it, but after a little while, he walked off. As off of this description that the person had given him, he immediately knows that it was Katsuki that Izuku had saved. Yami Kumo would basically sigh to himself as he would say thank you, as he would also ask the person which way did they see him go. They would point in the direction that Izuku went, as Yami Kumo would quickly run after him. After a little while of searching and not finding Izuku, Yami Kumo would just go home, assuming that Izuku was fine. If he didn't have to go to the hospital, then he was okay. And he would eventually find his way home. After a little while after Yami Kumo got home and basically explained what happened to Enko, Izuku will only get home a little bit, only sometime after Yami Kumo got out of the shower. As soon as this what happened, yeah. As soon as this what happened, Yamikumo would basically walk into, I guess it would be their room. I don't think Inko would get them. Yeah, I guess it would either be like two separate beds or a bunk bed, one of those. No, never mind. I changed my mind. It's two. They have two separate rooms. Yamikumo would basically be dressing in night clothes by the time Izuku got home. When Izuku got in the shower and put on his night clothes, Inko would call them for dinner. They would eat. As they would go to their rooms to go to sleep, as they would have to train for the 10 months at UA. Yamikumo, but before they went to sleep, Yamikumo would basically be asking Izuku what happened. As Izuku would explain everything, but Izuku has something even bigger to tell Yamikumo. Yamikumo would be intrigued as, golly, it's hot. Yamikumo would be intrigued as he would agree to he would have agreed to what Izuku had said as they would leave off, or as he would leave off to go to his room to go to sleep. The next morning, Izuku would no, I don't think they would be that early. Izuku and Yamikumo would wake up around 10 a.m. or whatever 10 a.m. is in military time. They would wake up, have breakfast, and basically get dressed to go out to Deguma Beach. To Deguma Beach. When they end up getting there, Yamikumo would be highly confused on what was going on, asking his brother why they're here. As eventually a short, skinny man, or fuck it, small Mike. I don't know why I'm trying to explain this shit like I'm goddamn. Like I'm a goddamn member of We the Celestials. Like a short, skinny man came from behind a pile of trash. Like, bro, we all know it's All Might. I don't know why you explaining it like that, or I don't know why I'm gonna explain it like that. I'm not on that level of storytelling. Especially since we're doing this shit off a top dome. Well, no, that's a lie. This is premeditated. Damn. But anyway, Izuku and Yamikumo would turn around to see Small Mike, or I guess in this case the short disheveled man. Yamikumo would look confused as Izuku would turn around and say, "Oh my, you're here." Yamikumo would be highly confused as he would turn over to Izuku confused. What are you talking about? This is obviously not All Might. As Izuku would basically be like, "Oh, right, I forgot to explain to you. All Might, do you mind?" As All Might would basically sigh and would basically sort of berate Izuku for not telling him that he wanted to tell his brother, but they need to continue. So All Might would buff up to becoming All Might, as Yamikumo would be confused as All Might would explain. So not only explain what happened to him with him and All For One, or in this case, what was that fake hero? What was that fake villain name? What do you say? Chainsaw something? Whatever it was. Basically after he said that, damn right. After this point, Yamikumo and Izuku, as I'm not gonna lie, things basically go the same for when Izuku and All Might first started, just only with a few more questions thrown out by Yamikumo. But after this point, it'll all basically go the same. The 10 months of training, Izuku getting one for all. But here's a high difference. Yamikumo is extremely physically fit. I would say one of the most physically fit out of 1A. Not the very most, but one of the most. Like, for example, when Sato eats some sugar, he gets more buff. But I'm assuming already from how tall and muscular he is in his base form, Yamikumo would have around the same definition, just in a smaller body. He wouldn't grow any larger. He is taller than Izuku, but not by too much. But anyway, they would go to the entrance exam. They went to the same school, so they would go to different areas. as it would basically go the same as in canon. But here's the difference. Yami Kuma would basically be like yelling at people to like, I think you should help me out with this robot, or I think you should only destroy the legs of the robot, as the kids would only do that, or what it ain't it like not treadmills, the little fucking rolly things on the bottom of tanks. That's what the robots have. They ain't have legs. As Yami Kuma would probably say that sometimes, or would definitely say that, as most of the kids would consistently do it. Oh, as their eyes would glow yellow as they would destroy the legs of it. Yami Kuma will do some aerodynamics, jump behind the robot, and push the button on the back of the head. As the button is basically how Hagakure and Mineta got into there. They just use their quirks to sneak up behind the robots, or to get behind the robots to press the button. That's how they got into UA. But anyway, Yami Kuma would basically run through this, as he would end up getting I would say 30 plus hero points. Not hero points, villain points. And basically as soon as the 0 point came out, Yami Kuma would basically just yell out loud, trying to possess, or quote unquote possess, or mind or control as many people as he could to help everyone around him. As this would rack up a plethora of points for Yami Kuma. As the reason for this is because Nezu saw that Yami Kuma was the one that ordered everybody to help the people who were trapped or injured out. All the points that would go to those kids would be going to Yami Kuma. And that would be over a plethora of points. I don't even know how many. So if Izuku just destroying the robot by saving Uraraka got him 60 points, then saving people from the robot consistently, that'd be 60, 120. I'm not going to say he breaks all my record. Damn, I sort of just made Yami Kuma a little too overpowered. I would say that he would get around 30 plus, so 40. He would get around 100 points, getting first place out of everybody in the entrance exam. After this point, Yami Kuma and Izuku would go home. Yami Kuma and Izuku would be Izuku would be. What do you say? Oh yeah, basically after some time of waiting, Yami Kuma and Izuku would both get their their cards, or their acceptance letters, as Yami Kuma and Izuku will end up going back to their old school to confirm that they were transferred into UA. Bakugo would try to bully Yami Kuma and Izuku, as he would say the same thing, like, I want to talk to both of you I want to talk to both of you. Yami Kuma would basically grab Izuku's wrist, basically saying no, he wouldn't even grab Izuku. He would grab Izuku's shoulder. He would be like, sorry, we don't have time for that. We have to go train. See you around, Katsuki. See you around, Bakugo. As Yami Kuma would basically drag Izuku away. When this would happen, after a little while, Yami Kuma and Izuku would basically go to UA, as things would play out consistently. I think so because Yami Kuma got so many points, only a large person out of UA would be dismissed. I would say it would be Mineta. Because from what I can tell, or from what they said in the original series, that they don't judge off of pure scores, they judge off of potential. I'm pretty sure off of potential between Mineta and Hagakure, it's gonna be Hagakure. I think it's like Toru Hagakure, yeah. So Yami Kuma will be replacing Mineta, since there can only be 20 students. But anyway, after this point, Aizawa would say the same thing, Uraraka would say the same thing, but Uraraka would introduce herself to Izuku and Midoriya. As things would basically play out consistently. As for the practical test, honestly, Yami Kuma would do pretty, not poorly, but he would do as much. He would do pretty basic almost. As Yami Kumo's quirk cannot even be like even represented at all in any of the tests. Anyway, at this point, where was I? Right. So after this point, Yamikumo and Izuku would basically be going out through. It would basically be the next day, and Yamikumo and Izuku would basically be doing normal school things, of course. And also something else. Uraraka and Ida will both end up introducing themselves to both of them. So basically, the next day, Yamikumo would tell Izuku that he's gonna go out to try and make friends with other classmates. So he can just hang out with Uraraka and Ida. So here's the part where it's sort of weird. Izuku has hanged around people before that aren't just his brother, but not too often. So Izuku is sort of awkward around them, but after like 5 minutes of them just talking, they wouldn't be awkward anymore. So after a little while, Yamikumo would go around to basically find some people in this class to go and sit with. After a little while, he would hear he would hear a high-pitched voice calling him over, as he would see a pink-skinned girl and a frog. Damn, hold on, let me turn this hoe up. And a frog girl. It would be Suyu and Mina. Suyu, Mina, any other mutations, so like Shoji, that's dupla arms. So it would just be all the mutated members of their class. It would be like Shoji, Suyu, Mina, and I think Koda, with a T, not a D, because I'm pretty sure Koda is at the little summer camp, and Kota is animal speaking kid, the quiet kid in class that's gonna become a school shooter. I don't know if I can make that joke, so I take it back. YouTube, don't take that seriously, please. I haven't got a goddamn subscriber. Ain't nobody gonna fucking care about that shit. Whew. But anyway. Where was I? Right. So basically, Izuku would get called over. Or not Izuku. Yamikumo would get called over as he would introduce himself to basically all the mutated kids in his class. And after a little while, he would basically get chummy with all of them, honestly. As Yamikumo and Izuku, personality-wise and people skills-wise, aren't that different. Just Yamikumo is less shy. So after a little while, Also, by the way, oh shit, no, right. Okay. So after this point, they would end up leaving lunch to go on to the next class to hero training, as All Might would do the same thing. We're going to battle. Ooh, I think Mineta was on like Momo's team. Mineta was on Momo's team. Whoever he's also, here's Yamikumo's hero suit. Now, ready? So I just want to basically point this out. That little line that's from Yamikumo's shoulder down from his elbow on out, that is a cape, I'm assuming. Because there's like a little thing behind Yamikumo which also represents it. Right there, boom. From behind through the shoulder, under the legs, out the legs, through the back. Damn. That's all I wanted to say. I forgot who Yamikumo and... I forgot who Momo and Mineta went against, but whoever it was, I doubt they win. Because because Yami Kumo's athletic skills and then plus his quirk, he basically even if Momo it doesn't matter which side he would even be on. Truly, it doesn't matter if Momo and him were to be on the hero side. As soon as he would have run into somebody, I think you should lead me to where the bomb is. I think you should hold off your teammate. I think you should fight your team. Like, there's so much that he could do. It doesn't matter who, and also he's smart, so it doesn't matter whose side he's on. They win. As even when their match is over and all my ask is who the MVP is, Momo would basically end up saying Yami Kumo, as she would say that he not only made a better plan than her, and also at the end of the day it truly didn't matter which side he was on. And also at the end of the day it doesn't matter which side he was on. His planning, his role as a villain, as not gonna lie, Yami Kumo's outfit is kind of villainous. Look at this shit. It's villain. And also his hair name would be Fiend Kid. Yes, I'm going with that. But anyway, Momo will basically be pointing out all the factors that Yami Kumo had. As this is where I'm going to give the option to anybody, to any soul that comments on this video, to a singular person, who the ship be. I've given Mina, Suyu, or Momo. As I'm basically just going to be pumping out singular episode 1 with ifs until people comment or ask me to continue, or at least until I get my subscribers up, which is hopefully soon, because I do have like a plethora of fucking what if ideas. So I don't think it'll take too long. But anyway, Izuku and anyway, it will be do I want to continue? Because after this it's the USJ. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna continue. Oh. So after a little while, Yami Kumo and after a little while, it was I think it was like a day or two after this happened. When Katsuki left out after Izuku beat Katsuki, Yami Kumo would not give a shit. He wouldn't give a damn. But basically after a day or two, they went up Aizawa would tell them that they're going on a field trip to go to the USJ. He wouldn't tell them that. Well, yeah. No, he wouldn't tell them it would be the USJ. He would just tell them that they're going on a field trip. After this point, Yami, not after this point, how do I want to put it? At this point, Yami, everybody on the bus will be talking, basically asking who the strongest is. There will only be like 2 people who would say, as people are saying like Izuku, Bakugo, fucking Todoroki. As Momo would basically end up pointing out that Yami Kumo is technically the strongest. As all of them would sort of look confused as how is Yami Kumo the strongest? As Yaoyorozu would basically explain that Yami Kumo can not only as Yami Kumo would explain his quirk in detail as what his quirk can do. As Yaoyorozu would basically explain that Yami Kumo can basically make anybody in the room do whatever he wants, just long as it's formed in an idea, almost like Jeopardy on how you have to answer in a question. But basically, Yaoyorozu basically explained if he wanted to, he can almost wave his hand or flick his finger in front of Todoroki and basically implant an idea in his mind. Maybe you should freeze yourself, or maybe even look at Katsuki, flick his finger, and tell him to explode himself in the face. As Yamikuma would sort of look over at Katsuki and raise his hand in a plucking motion, as his eyes would slightly glow yellow, as Katsuki would immediately break eye contact and look away, or basically just close his eyes and start yelling, "Don't look at me again, worm hair," or freak hair. I don't know. I'll say freak hair. Freak hair. Yep, freak hair. He would. Yeah, don't look at me again, freak hair. As soon as Yamikuma did this, he would just basically lean back in his seat. That's all he wanted to do was to just mess with Katsuki. And also something else, Momo would basically point this out for anybody in the class that if if Yamikuma figures out their slightest weakness or what they can or cannot do, they'll just immediately lose. Because Yamikumo can basically yell it out, flick his finger, anything truly to basically, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is it? As Yamikumo can basically tell them to do anything, as they could not do anything about it to resist it. So they would basically just lose. As everybody would sort of be thinking about this, as they would realize that his quirk is a lot more powerful than it seems. After a little while, they will eventually end up getting to the USJ. And just to leave it on a cliffhanger, that's when I'm going to leave it off, because I'm also very tired and bored. I'll be doing another What If tomorrow, hopefully. This shit that I make can get a little bit of views, and just because, man, I'm gonna give this shit a fucking intro. I'm gonna look for something to do a goddamn intro on. But have a nice day. Please like, subscribe. I want to get this channel off the ground to get to get all the creative juices that I got in my head to flow. You know, to basically, because I got hella shit planned. I've basically filled up my entire notes with idea. Like I'm on an iPhone. I filled my shit up with notes. I filled the whole goddamn thing up with just ideas for what ifs or other things like that. Shit, I'm in the middle of making a book. Let me do something like that on YouTube. How about we get these off the ground? Yeah, please. Like I said, like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to see this part 2. Have a nice day.